My mother always handled me differently from my brothers and sisters throughout my entire existence, and never displayed affection toward me. Then amid an argument prior to my parents' separation, she confessed I was an unsuccessful termination she hadn't desired. I, a 15-year-old boy, am the eldest among 3 kids. My brother is the middle one, an 11-year-old boy, and my sister is the baby of the family, an 8-year-old girl. Our household had constantly been somewhat chaotic, and I recognized that from the start. But as I matured, I continually sensed excluded by my mom and her relatives, which mainly consist of her sibling, because my mother isn't tight with her own folks. I observed this particularly as my brother and sister aged. It was a complete contrast. For instance, at school, if I created some lousy artwork, my mom wouldn't bother glancing at it. But I see now with my brother, yet especially my sister, whatever she produces is treated as if it was crafted by divine intervention, and it's showcased all over. My aunt, my mother's sibling, would never inquire about my day or such, barely converse with me. If I tried sharing something, she showed no interest. But with my siblings, she's the most welcoming individual. So pleasant, so compassionate, so entertaining, but never that way toward me. My mom would occasionally forget to prepare a spot for me at dinner, and I'd have to serve myself. During one holiday greeting card, she chose an image excluding me. I often overheard my parents arguing over this frequently, particularly in my early years. My dad would simply urge her to make an effort, and I believe it's finally registered for me now, and I am partially the cause of this split aside from the infidelity. My father and his relatives were the reverse of that. They adored me. I share an excellent bond with my dad. He's the greatest dad imaginable. Apologies, this is scattered. This section was quite extended. I attempted to shorten it. Roughly several days before my parents announced the divorce to us, I had a massive dispute with my mom and sort of my dad, but he was merely present, regarding unrelated matters, but in that I sort of questioned her why she lacked love for me. And I believe in a fit of rage she revealed she hadn't wanted me, and I was a botched termination. I'm not entirely sure what failed, but in our area terminations aren't permitted, so I suppose it was her youth and limited proper options or similar. In that instant, my dad essentially erupted at her and dispatched me to sleep. I believe I withdrew following this. I merely recall feeling worthless and weeping in my bed that evening. I was aware I resulted from a teenage conception, but I assumed my mom and dad overcame that, and despite being a teenage conception, I believed they still cherished me and strived to finish secondary education and provide for me. When my parents gathered us and notified me and my siblings about the divorce, I experienced detachment from it. My siblings were extremely upset, but I felt detached. I continue to feel detached. My aunt was present and instructed me and my siblings to prepare to depart and that we would reside with my mom temporarily. At that point, I became very distressed since I refused to reside with a lady who sought to terminate me and then continued to handle me poorly during my life, and obviously lacked affection for me. I didn't state that at first. So I informed my aunt, mom, and dad that I refused to abandon the home I was raised in to stay at my aunt's place with my mom. My mother simply appeared sorrowful, but I exited the kitchen and headed to my room to isolate myself. My aunt trailed me and desired to converse with me. She appeared quite displeased with me. She stated that my siblings admire me, which is accurate. I'm essentially an additional guardian, and I must support my mother during this difficult period. I replied something like I refused to support that, which and my aunt became furious and informed me I lacked understanding, and that my dad was unfaithful and I ought to back my mom. That's how I discovered the infidelity. In that instant, I truly didn't mind that he was unfaithful. Reflecting back, I believe it was awful my dad betrayed my mom. And I became very angry and mentioned the termination and questioned her why I'd back someone who lacks love for me and didn't desire me. I referenced all the incidents from my life that seemed significant to me. My aunt essentially informed me that it was a complex circumstance regarding me and that I couldn't hold a grudge against my mother over it. By now, my parents arrived because we were shouting, and I was subsequently left by myself in my room once they made her depart. It's been several weeks since that, and I'm residing with my dad. My mother desires to speak with me, and I refuse. I feel particularly worthless concerning my siblings. I feel I let them down. They truly respect me, and I'm absent to assist them during this tough period, and I've essentially deserted them. I feel worthless sobbing over all this when I ought to attempt to be active, contacting my siblings, messaging them regularly, but instead I remain there and weep. My sister additionally overheard my dispute with my aunt, and her at 8 didn't comprehend most of what we argued about, but she researched it. And now, she believes my mother attempted to end my life, and she rejects any clarification my mom and aunt provide her. My sister is also upset and believes our mother despises me and is attempting to divide us. My brother and I haven't truly conversed, but I believe he's handling it the most effectively among us all. Based on my dad, my mom and aunt wish to clarify to my sister that she did not attempt to end my life, and that my mom does not despise me. My dad does not wish for me to despise my mom. He desires me to converse with her since he wants me to maintain a connection with her. Regarding how I feel about it, I'm uncertain how I feel about the termination matter. I don't view it as her attempting to end my life precisely. I do comprehend it was a teenage conception and it's a complex circumstance. I believe I more so mind that she handled me so horribly while growing up. I don't believe reflecting on it all I can despise her for the attempted termination. She was a frightened adolescent. I believe I simply despise her for handling me so distinctly and rather poorly compared to my siblings while growing up, and I refuse to converse with her anymore. As for my dad being unfaithful, he was garbage for it. But when I observe him, I can't force myself to truly mind. And I know that renders me awful, but I feel so torn. I adore my dad. He's been solely supportive to me in the finest manner a father can, but I refuse to converse with anyone. I've scarcely communicated with any of my wider family. Scarcely communicated with my siblings, and I feel so adrift, but also justified in the circumstance, but also like a complete jerk, because my dad's a dirtbag for being unfaithful. But he doesn't behave like a dirtbag, and I'm backing him despite the infidelity. Apologies for the length of this. Am I the asshole? I require someone to deliver me the harsh reality. Update, a minor update from the initial post. I barely rested last night, and I felt awful at school, so my dad collected me, and we went for a meal. Then upon returning home, I finally gathered sufficient bravery to pose him questions about what occupied my thoughts and matters raised by individuals in my post. The discussion was unexpectedly fruitful and candid. I noted in a response on my initial post, but in our family we never truly discussed difficult topics or emotions. But essentially my and my dad's discussion went like this. I inquired my dad about his affair partner and essentially what occurred there. This was something I desired to learn, but also didn't, but still chose to inquire in case she would relocate. My dad clarified that his affair lasted for 5 months. He felt exhausted with my mother and committed a horrible choice. He stated the affair was uncovered not from my mom examining his device or such, but him admitting as the longer it continued, the more sleazy my dad felt. He felt like a horrible father returning home to his children after betraying their mother, as he described it. My dad states he is not going to communicate with the woman anymore whatsoever, and intends not to date or wed anyone fresh until me and my siblings are all grown. The following thing I inquired about I didn't truly note in the post, but I desired to know his role in my mom attempting to terminate the pregnancy and such. He stated he actually didn't know she was expecting until roughly 1 to 2 weeks prior to my birth. He also described the essence of what my mother informed him. My dad doesn't know the detailed specifics, so everything I mention here is what he also knows. My mom discovered she was expecting at 16 to 17 years old and informed my aunt. They kind of freaked, but my aunt attempted taking my mother to obtain a termination, but my mom's parents discovered and did not permit my mother to terminate the pregnancy. Even following that, my aunt still once more tried to assist mom obtain a termination. But this second effort was discovered, and following that my mom's parents dispatched my aunt to reside with kin until after my mom delivered. That's what occurred. So I believe that means I'm not technically a failed termination, just a blocked termination. I don't believe it creates much difference, though. On the positive side, my grandparents are going to take me and my siblings out during the weekend to engage in some enjoyable activities to divert our minds from all the turmoil. I am anticipating that as I hope with my grandparents present, I won't need to respond to many inquiries, and naturally I get to see my siblings. I am also feeling improved, expressing my emotions even if it was for unknown people on Reddit assisted. I did not raise the subject of counseling with my father as many individuals recommended, but I am going to compose a note to my mom and begin keeping a diary. Despite what many individuals stated, I am going to have a discussion with my mother after I provide her my note and she reads and digests it. I don't know when that will occur, but soon likely. I want to express gratitude to everyone who responded on the original post. I don't think I even reviewed half the responses, but nearly all of them I did review contained excellent guidance. Many individuals requested me to update them, so here it is. I don't know if I performed the update properly, as this is my first time utilizing Reddit. Comments where Op has replied. Comment 1, this is a pleasant update. I'm pleased you had a solid conversation with your dad. This is another indication that you've chosen correctly for yourself. He's obviously a secure environment for you when your mom isn't. On that topic, did you inquire him about how her disregard of you impacted their marriage? You mentioned in your previous post that you observed it, so I was curious if it arose. I suspect it is at the core of what drove your dad to the affair. It wouldn't justify infidelity, but it would be a very comprehensible reason. Oop, we did discuss that, but I didn't want to make the update too extended, and it was primarily my father just expressing regret repeatedly. He didn't note it being the core of the affair, but I don't know what occurs inside his mind. He didn't truly provide me a cause for the affair, but I think I'm fine not knowing one. How old are Oop's parents if his mother was a teenager when he was born? Oop, they're the same age. Sorry, did I not make that clear? Comment 2, if you're talking to your grandparents on your mother's side, do let them know what impact their interference caused. They traumatized your mom and she treated you poorly because of that. Oop, I don't really converse with my mom's side other than my aunt. I suppose I now understand why, but still not close with my mom's parents. We've only really ever done activities with my dad's side of the family. Comment 3, well, your mom was completely wrong for handling you that way. It had to be difficult on your dad, who obviously loves you greatly, to witness you being mistreated by his spouse, your mother. She literally would overlook setting a plate for you at holiday. That's just malice for malice's sake. You didn't request to be conceived or to be born. You were and are completely blameless in all of this. Remain with your dad, he cherishes you, and don't allow your mom to continue parentifying you. Even though I have never been unfaithful and absolutely disagree with it, I can understand why observing his wife mistreat you for years, and other things I'm certain she did, no doubt diminished his affection for her. He likely remained for you children. That said, I think that he should be motivated to seek someone new once he's recovered from the divorce and not delay until you are all adults. He merits some joy from romantic affection eventually too. And, as a dad myself, I can assure you that you and your little brother and sister are probably his greatest source of happiness in this life. I know that my kids are for me. Comment 4, yeah, Dad is a saint. Because he wasn't the one who was compelled to deliver and compelled to love someone she didn't desire. And then possibly compelled to be with a person who made her deliver because that's the proper thing to do. For goodness sake. Now Dad's receiving praise, but where was he earlier to not tackle it and compel his wife to address clear trauma? Oop, my dad's not a saint, but he didn't compel my mom into anything. Most of the compelling was done by mom's parents. My dad didn't compel my mother to wed him. And because my dad didn't compel my mother to do things, he didn't compel her to address any trauma. I sympathize with my mom. Being a teen and pregnant is tough. But she also had 15 years to sort things out. I understand it was difficult for her. But I don't care at this point how she feels about it 15 years later at 32 when she spent my entire childhood resenting me. And from my perspective, the one instructing the other parent to cease yelling during disputes so the children don't overhear was my dad. My dad was the one proposing they avoid arguing and take time to calm. My mom was the one who would not take time to calm and pursue him to continue disputing. I don't think my dad's a complete saint, but compared to my mother, I think he is.